Senque Selvi has a short walk to school every morning. But as Senque winds his way through the tall buildings of the Cabrini-Green housing project, he faces more than most 10-year-olds do on their way to school.
I gotta walk down the long way instead of walking the short way, because you never know, if somebody can shoot you with a bullet, and a bullet don't got no eye. I know this boy who got shot, who went to Jenner, 2 more boys, I think, Anthony Felton and Roosevelt. I don't know his last name, but Laquita Ellis got shot too. It's like you gotta be careful to walk to school in Cabrini-Green.
Last fall, Senque lost another classmate to a sniper's bullet. 7-year-old Dontrell Davis was shot in the head as he walked hand in hand with his mother across the parking lot from his building to Jenner School. Senque's mother and other mothers at Cabrini now shudder when they send their children off to school.
Yeah, I pray every morning, before they get ready to go to school, we get on our knees and we pray.
Dontrell was the 3rd Jenner grade school student killed by gunfire this year. His death quickly became a symbol of the escalating urban violence that cities seem to be unable to control. Chicago Mayor Richard Daley.
What we see is, unfortunately, the wanton violence, the whole total disregard of human life by gang and drug dealers. And it's almost to be declaring a war. That's where we are, really, declaring a war against the gang dealers and drug dealers and gang bangers in our city and our nation. We have to. We have a war here. And we have to go after them the same way they go after innocent people.
Daley and Chicago Housing Authority Chief Vince Lane vowed to take back Cabrini-Green from the shooters, the snipers, and the gangs. 1 week after Dontrell Davis's death, the housing project was inundated with hundreds of police officers, city workers, and construction crews. Entrances to all buildings were secured and locked. Residents now have to walk through metal detectors and show IDs to get into previously unlocked buildings.
Before, this building was open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Anybody could come in here, drive up, walk off the sidewalk, come in here, get in the elevator, do anything they wanted. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Now it's more secure?
That's the key. You have to have security.
Controlling violence in public housing is a problem plaguing cities across the country. But a recent federal report called Chicago's crime problems the worst in the nation. The concentration of high-density high-rises plus well-organized gangs means gangs can virtually control the projects here. Sick of the killing and the drugs, many residents welcomed the new security measures.
Considering how bad it's been over here, in a way I kind of understand why they got so many police over here and whatnot. Try to straighten out things, straighten the buildings out, keep all the trouble, keep all the drugs and stuff out.
And when the police all leave, do you think it will be different?
Yeah, I think it will. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but hopefully it'll be safe around here for a pretty long time.
There have been many efforts to curb the violence in the 70-acre Cabrini-Green project that sits just to the west of Chicago's Gold Coast and only 2 miles from downtown. Mayor Jane Byrne moved into Cabrini-Green in 1981 in an effort to focus attention on the security needs at the project. The latest effort is the biggest. The city will spend $500,000 to seal off 4 buildings, conduct apartment-by-apartment security sweeps in the remaining 30 buildings, and expand social services. Vince Lane told Cabrini residents this time they too must get involved.
You all have had to duck and dodge bullets long enough. I don't want to go to any more funerals for babies. I don't want to go to any more funerals for anybody. Not when they're funerals because someone has been killed in a violent manner. You all have to take advantage of the moment. Come out of your apartments, start working with each other, with the organizations that service Cabrini, and let's throw the bad guys out. And some of those bad guys, you know as well as I do, are your friends and relatives.
On the street, there was no doubt that the heat was on. On the day of the security sweep, 15 police officers went after these young men after a report that a gun had been found nearby.
Let me tell you something. The minute you leave here, you go straight over to that ID center and get processed, okay? If I see you again out here and you ain't got processed, I'm gonna lock you up.
Don't I gotta get the lease out the house?
You need that.
Some residents complained that the metal detectors and constant checks made them feel more like they were in prison than at home.
I think it's kind of being overdone, you know. I mean, it's all well and done with they secure the building and searching a vacant apartment, but, you know, it's ridiculous being searched coming in and coming out.
How many times have you been searched today?
About 4 times. Just trying to walk with my mother while she getting her identification and just trying to get in the building and get something to eat for lunch. You know, just ridiculous. I know I couldn't slip nothing in and out that quick.
You can't even go in your own building without showing the ID and somebody coming to sign you in.
South Africa somewhere, ain't it? Like you're in a concentration camp, ain't it?
Community activist Marion Stamps has been working with Cabrini's children for over 20 years. She says the new security measures are not the way to go.
You had to see the police in 3 and 4 buses and all the cars. I mean, the buses looked like tanks, right? They came in our community like they was going to Desert Storm. That's no way to treat us. They treating us like everybody in this community killed that baby. And that's no way to treat us.
The crackdown has brought complaints. The American Civil Liberties Union has sued the Housing Authority, saying security sweeps violate tenants' rights to be free from unreasonable search and seizure and their right to privacy.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Miss Jess.
Okay, but number one, I don't have no drugs. This is a drug-free house, okay?
Okay,
so when you come in here, I don't want my house all rumbled up and tore up and disarray.
But police official Sherwood Williams, who heads up the division charged with securing Cabrini, says the ACLU lawsuit prevents police from being as effective as they could be.
Police can't go into these occupied apartments and search. That'd be a violation of the rights. Even with the emergency inspections conducted by CHA management team, they only can make a cursory type of observations in the apartments. So if I'm a gangbanger and I know the police's hands is tied as far as coming in occupied apartments and so forth, we can take them guns and hide them in drawers and closets and so forth.
These are the young men who are the targets of the massive effort by the police and the Housing Authority. But now even the gang leaders say the killing must stop. These men of the Cobra Nation were out putting up flyers calling for an end to the drugs and the guns. They say even before Dontrell Davis's death, gang leaders had come together and called for a truce. Dave Mack says after burying 4 brothers, he knew it was time to stop.
It was destroying. I mean, you could look at the crime. It was black killing black. I'm telling you, if you really look at it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no white person coming over here killing us. You know what I'm saying? We was killing our own people, and it's time to stop. You know what I'm saying?
How did you get people together who had been shooting each other?
You know, it was just, you know, but it was just time for them to unite. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to cause the Dontrell. You know, cause this is something that's supposed to be in focus. We realized that we were destroying our nationality from our future youth. You know, we want to get that to them because we feel as though, you know, the young brothers and sisters growing up, you know, deserve to, you know, to have more than what we had. And that's we're trying to get this to them.
Crime has dropped at Cabrini-Green since Dontrell Davis's death. There were no murders and only 2 shootings in the 3 weeks after the security sweeps began. The head of the Chicago Police Department, Matthew Rodriguez, says it is more likely that it was the new security measures, not a gang truce, that calmed the projects.
If they choose to take credit for that, that's up to the gangs. My evaluation of a truce would be quite a distance in the future, and basically, you know, I don't put a whole lot of stock in it. At the same time, in this city, back in the 1920s, we saw other organized criminal activity, other criminal gangs who also purportedly entered into truces, and the truce never seemed to be long-standing. So, based on history, there is nothing for me to take a great comfort from.
No matter what has made the difference, security efforts or a gang truce, Sanque Salvi says it is not quite as scary to walk to school now. But Sanque and his classmates, like most everyone at Cabrini, wonder if it will last.
I think it'll get better, like, if they like they have police on the street 24 hours a day, like they see any gang members walking down the street, they can like tell them to go somewhere else. If they don't, they could arrest them.
I don't think this neighborhood is going to get better. I think afterwards, when they get finished with the buildings and everything, fixing them around, getting all the cocaine and drug pushers out, it's going to be the same way again. And that people are going to start doing it over again. And then the people, police and everything are not going to do nothing about it. They're just going to keep letting it happen. And this neighborhood is going to stay the same.
The effort to make life safer for Cabrini's children has been massive. But poverty is still the basic, intractable problem here. The shooting at Cabrini may have stopped for the moment, but at home, Sanque Salvi must still deal with a bleak, roach-infested apartment. There is little furniture, few clothes, no books. Afraid of the violence outside, his 28-year-old mother rarely leaves her apartment. The television is her main contact with the outside world. Vince Lane says children like Sanque Salvi may survive here, but they will not thrive unless basic changes are made in public housing.
As long as we sit here with 90% of the residents on welfare, huddled in these tiny boundaries, we're going to have problems.
Solving those basic structural problems will take a lot longer than installing metal detectors and running security sweeps. But Vince Lane says Chicago has begun to try. He says the legacy of Dontrell Davis demands no less.